Today we are reading from an academic paper, okay? So I downloaded it from the author's academia page. I would never have been able to finish my thesis without the support of friends and my family. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to my advisor, Dr. Holly Gailey. I would like to thank Dr. Ariana Maki, Dr. Jules Levinson, and Ritual Theory Seminar of 2016. And the career the author had in Bhutan Institute of Language and Culture Studies at Colorado University Boulder. Okay, some background about Vajrakilaya. It is a wrathful deity uh, with a mantra. So if you receive empowerment, you can practice the mantra of this deity, and it is for the benefit of all sentient beings. And I think nowadays there is a lot of backlash for some reason against like tantric practitioners. One of my gurus from Manali, Kulu Manali, he mentioned a lot of practitioners are getting evicted from their practice sites. And so it's an interesting phase where I think people are pressured to be more professional. So here's an example of professionalism by a practitioner. I assume the author is a practitioner. No guarantees. Okay, the villagers of Sumtrang dress themselves in their best attire and gather in the courtyard of the monastery as the sun begins to warm the autumn morning. The Sumtrang Choje lineage holder and his lay practitioners finish their morning rituals. The Gomchins dress up to perform the mask dances while the villagers cluster in the monastery courtyard with excitement. By 10 o'clock, the mask dancers are ready, and the beat of a huge drum and bell heralds their entrance onto the performance ground. One of the highlights of the council, the annual Vajrakilaya performance tradition at Sumtrang Monastery, comes on the second day when the Damtik Nolim is performed. The main dancer wears a skeleton mask and a tiger skin costume around the waist with a cloak with Vajra on four sides worn over the shoulder. Barefoot with naked chest, he carries a yak skin and a bamboo walking stick. This figure is understood to be a Samaya breaker, one who has breached his tantric vows, and he is meant to be the enemy of the 10 pure fields. He enters the performance ground begging money from the people and beating up the festival clowns, and after a while goes to hide somewhere near the performance ground. As soon as this character goes to hide yet again, the drum and bell are beaten. In addition, horns and trumpets are blown, and the dance master plays the cymbal according to which the dancers follow their movement and dance rhythm. As the sounds of musical instruments fill the space with a majestic tenor, 10 male wrathful emanations of Vajrakilaya wear red and blue wrathful masks enter the ground. They wear five-color silk scarves from the waist and hold a kilaya and a small skull cup. The wrathful ones then find this vow-breaking person from his hiding place and hold him by the hands and legs, swinging him in the air and put him on the ground, signifying the subjugation of the enemy of the 10 pure fields. As this enactment is done, children laugh, finding the scene to be funny, and elders fold their hands and pray for the negativity to be destroyed. This is just one of the many ways that negativity is destroyed each year in Council. Vajrakilaya Dorje Phurba. So another name is Dorje Phurba, is the Idam deity who embodies the enlightened activities of all the Buddhas, which although is practiced in all the four schools of Tibetan Buddhism and is central to Nyingma school, the practice of Vajrakilaya is famous for being the most powerful deity for removing obstacles, destroying the negative forces with the wrathful compassion, and purifying the spiritual contamination. The Phurba or Kilaya from which the deity Vajrakilaya manifests is a three-edged nail that is described to penetrate the root of emotional afflictions and purify it. The manifestation of Vajrakilaya varies from tradition to another. In the secret Purba Tantra, Vajrakilaya is described to have 1,000 heads, 1,000 arms, and 10 million eyes. However, in the Nirvana Tantra of Vajrakilaya, he is depicted with 9 heads and 18 arms. Then, in the Root Tantra, he is described as having 3 faces and 6 arms. So, this is the image I'm familiar with. Kamar says, how are you? Hi, I'm fine. I'm thinking about how names signify personalities in mainstream culture these days. This is just my own thoughts. Anyways, so this author wrote this paper, and I'm reading from it. The practice of this deity in sadhana practice involves self visualizations, which are soteriological in nature, overcoming inner obstacles to the path of liberation, or that he can be invoked in public ritual performances to subjugate demonic forces and reestablish the cosmic order. Previous scholarship on the Vajrakilaya tradition has focused on text critical and philological analysis, examining the development of specific lineages and intertextual links between lineages within the Nyingma tradition. While there are a number of reputable works on Vajrakilaya, Braden says hi. No one has yet to study the tradition of Sumtrang, located 50 kilometers from the central part of Bhutan, which is called Bumtang, and you can check out my Bhutan history series from before. Snow Lion Publications also has a 1990 publication about this subject. This thesis explores a tradition of Vajrakilaya practice that is performed in one of the oldest monasteries in the central part of Bhutan, founded in the 13th century. Its founding figure is one of the earliest Buddhist masters to visit Bhutan after the legendary Padmasambhava, Indian master, who first cured a Sindhu Raja king, whom Padmasambhava cured by bringing the local deity Shilgin Karpo, who took the king's life force under his control. Padmasambhava returns back the king's life force and gives him the initiation of Vajrani to protect the king. I didn't know that. What's the channel about? Roger on the keys. This channel is about Asian history. Asian history. Thanks. That was the advent of Vajrayana Buddhism in Bhutan. Gyalwa Lanangpa Zijitpel 1164 to 1224, also known as Gyalwa Lanangpa Sangye Rinchen, was Sumtrang's founding figure. He was the disciple of Drikung Chopa Jigten Sumgen, 1143 to 1217, who founded the Drikung Kagyu school. When he came to Bhutan in the 12th century, he gained control over portions of the western region of the country and started a subsect of Drikung. However, this sect was eradicated. In response, he sent his son to central Bhutan to start a family lineage based on his own Vajrakilaya teachings. This is how the Vajrakilaya tradition of Sumtrang started. He established the monastery as advised by his father, who was also his teacher. Along with him, his father also sent a whole set of support to establish a monastery. These included 16 kilas for body support, a whole corpus of Vajrakilaya Tantra for speech support, a small stupa made from 3 different jewels that were offered by the mermaid of Lake Mapam, where he manifested his accomplishment by walking on the lake, a small roaring drum made of the skin of a Dramse Kidong as the knowledge support, and a Kila that was revealed as treasure by the Maratika cave by Padmasambhava to subdue the evil force as the support for enlightened activity. Many other relics, like skull used by Naropa, are also preserved in the monastery. Thus, Sumtrang considers its Vajrakila tradition as one of the important traditions and is still practiced today. In this thesis, I focus on the annual Vajrakilaya performance called Council. So if you want to search it, it's also available on YouTube, I guess. It means the fulfillment and offering to a Dharma protector and refers to the appeasing of the deities of one's locality, including protective deities as well as Yidam deities, Vajrakilaya himself. The council is performed annually on the monastery grounds in November in order to appease and petition Vajrakilaya to subdue evil forces and clear the surrounding area of negativity. In this study, I examine the intersection of lineage, ritual, and art in order to understand how the Vajrakilaya tradition and the council festival restores the cosmic balance of the area surrounding the monastery for the year. I argue that Vajrakilaya in the ritual life of Sumtrang is brought into actual presence in the ritual arena in order to vivify the blessing of the unbroken lineage connection with its association with La Nang Pa as the founding figure for Sumtrang and the early establishment of Buddhism in Bhutan. My study is based on extensive corpus of Vajrakilaya ritual manuals, personal observation of the ritual while growing up, formal interviews with Lama Wadrung Jamchuk, the current lineage holder, and informal discussions during the summer of 2015. So in India, I'm going to break for a bit. There's been some exhumation of stuff that has been buried since 2014, and it is really disturbing. I'll just leave it there. But yeah, this guy was alive in 2015. He did not get unlived by whoever is active, and he had this thesis written. Founding myth. Secret mantra is popularly conceived as Tantra in the West. The term Tantra was introduced in 1799 by the missionaries in India. The controversy of if Buddha had taught Tantra himself or not exists even today. Although mythical origin of Tantra is standardized in the Tantric text that traces its origin from the primordial Buddha through different modes of transmission, scholars have different hypotheses. Christian K. Weidemeyer, in his Making Sense of Tantric Buddhism, criticizes how the origin of Tantra has been framed by contemporary scholars to denigrate monks due to the strict morality required of them by the Buddhist Vinaya. So some claim Tantrism was practiced by lower social orders before appearing in the literature of the elite. Edward Conze notes Tantra to be magic. Others say it's a pre-Aryan practice of indigenous people that infused with Buddhist ideology. Tantric sources trace the origins of their teachings in several discernible patterns. And here's a quote that is way too obscure for our purposes. And then he contrasts how the different texts that he found discuss this subject. And there's a lot of technical terms that I will continue studying. And please don't jump onto this train that is currently brewing in the Indian media, because I feel like this is like a trap. I feel like people are just trying to find stuff to talk about without talking about stuff they don't want to talk about. So, anyways, have a good night. Bye.